Hey y'all, welcome back to Oli Makes. So, figure I'd try to squeeze in one last video before the holiday got up on us. So, I'm going with egg stuffing. No, probably not what you're thinking. But my wife saw an idea online, seen them on Amazon, something similar to this, more coin-like, but figure that'd be a good one to do for the little rugrats. So, stick around and I'll show you how I do it.
So I didn't realize that my right panel wasn't showing on this recording until well after I recorded it 3 separate times, and I'm just too lazy to redo it again. So I'll try to get my setup fixed for the next video I do like this, and bear with me here. So we're gonna start in LightBurn here. Now I'm gonna select the rectangle tool, draw one here, and I am going to go 25.4 millimeters in height and 50.8 millimeters in width. That's going to be roughly 1 inch high and 2 inches wide. And make sure that's on the black layer. We'll zoom in here. Now, I want these corners rounded. So you got a radius tool right here. And right now I got it set to 10 for the radius. And you just click each corner and it will automatically round off your corners. Okay, so that's looking about what I want it here. Now next I want to put a little bunny outline on one side. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one that I made up in Midjourney. And now I don't want this whole thing to be engraved because it will actually engrave all that's black. So after you got your image in, you right click and select trace image. And that looks about right. If you got a fairly clean image, you won't have to mess with your sliders at all. You can see it's captured the entire outline here. So we'll click OK. And actually, I'm going to switch this layer here. See if it's okay. We're gonna select that and do that red. That way we can get rid of that. So we got our outline, but the problem is this outline is less than a millimeter line width. So it's not really going to be that noticeable when you engrave it onto something this small. So we're going to select our line. And over here you got your offset tool. Going to go to offset, and let me zoom in here. Now the selected line is the dotted line here. So I can go out to go outside the selected line, or I can go inward to do the inside of the selected line, or you can do both. But I am going to just go with inward, and this is set for 1 millimeter. Let's see what it looks like on 2. That might be a little too wide for that size shape. So we will stick with 1. Click OK. Now it's still seeing this as 2 lines. So we'll just select both lines, and I'm going to actually group it up here. So that way it sees the single object. And over here, I'm going to change it from line to fill. And I'm actually going to do an offset fill. A regular fill would take the laser back and forth and it would do just a little bit of that line each time. The offset fill is actually going to trace it, which will save a lot of time on the laser because it doesn't have all this blank area to go back and forth over. So we'll do an offset fill, and there it fills it in between. Now the outside edge was our selected line and the inside was our offset, so it's going to fill all that area in between. So we'll go ahead and select it, and we'll get this shrunk down here to about the size that we want. That should be about right. Now I'm gonna drag from the bottom right up to the upper left to select everything. And then you got this target icon. That's gonna center it. And then I'm just gonna use the arrow key to move it over to where I want it. And I don't want it facing that way, I want it facing the other way. So right up here is your mirror selection. And that's just gonna flip it over. And that looks pretty good. I'm gonna make sure it is aligned horizontally, and it is. Okay, so this, actually before I do anything else, the red, let's see, we will do that at 6,000 millimeters a minute, and we're gonna go 100% power. And since that's a thinner line, I'm probably gonna set my number of passes to 2. That way it'll actually go over it twice. Click OK. Now this cut line, I know I'm going to need to do about 150 speed and 100% power just because I know my laser and I know the material I'm working on. And now we want to move the cut down to the bottom because it's going to execute these layers in order. It's going to go from top to bottom. You always want to do your engraving first and your cut last, because if you do your cut first, this piece could shift, fall out of the material if it's got a little warp to it or something, and then your engraving's off and it just makes a mess and your piece is semi-ruined. So we got that set, and I am gonna go ahead and group these together, select it all, just drag lower right and go up here to your grouping button, group them. So now I select this and you can see that's a moving line, that's a moving line, it's selecting it all as one. Zoom back out here. So now I'm gonna need about 30 of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and select it, and we're gonna go over here to our array. And this is a square array. You can also do circular array, but for this, we're going to go with square, and columns will be up and down. So I'm going to go, I'm working with about a 12-inch square piece of plywood. So we're going to go 5 across, and we'll do rows, which is up and down, we'll go 6. And that's gonna automatically create duplicates of them all. And your X and Y spacing will do the space in between. And since these are 50.8 wide, gonna do the X spacing at 53, then the Y spacing at 3, and that's all in millimeters. So that looks about right. Now I want to put some text, so I'm gonna make sure nothing's selected. I'm gonna use green for the text, so I'm gonna select my layer, and we'll just do something here and say, oh, new book. So now the way this is, again, it's online, so it's just going to do an outline of the letters, but that's not what I want. So I am going to go ahead and do a fill on that so it engraves a solid letter. And let's see, that will go to our height, which is actually like your font size. And let's go with an 8. Uh, that might be a little big. Let's try a 6. Okay, that's a little bit better. And actually, I'm going to select this. I'm going to ungroup it once. So now each one of these is individual, except I did nested grouping because I grouped the first one, the outline, and the rabbit outline as a group. And I grouped all of them together when I replicated it. So now I'm back down to a single group. So now I can draw up like this. And I want to make sure that is aligned horizontally. And I'm going to go ahead and do it vertically. And then just using my arrow key, I'll select just the letters. And that should give us enough to start filling out the rest of these tags. And now with this, I am probably going to go a little bit slower speed. We'll go 5,000 and 100% power. That way it'll give a little bit of a contrast between the bunny outline and the text. So I have already actually done one of these. I'll go ahead and bring that up here. Go and grab that one here. Okay, so this is what I got here. I got kind of a variety of stuff. So different colors, since I designed this on a different file, but you can still see 6,000 for the red, which is the bunny. I got 5,000 speed for the text, then 150 for the actual outline, and again, they are in order. So we'll do the red layer first, the green layer, then the blue layer finally. So I already got a piece of plywood prepped here. I'll get this up to the laser machine, I'll run it, and I think I want to do something on the back side as well, but I'll do that while this is actually running on the laser and cut. So let's get this up to the laser.
So we got the finish put on these. Just use a little bit of shellac, and I think they turned out all right. We got one side here, and then on the back side, and they fit right into these little babies. Ready to go. Ready to be found by the kids. So that's gonna do it for this time. Thanks for hanging out with me again. See you next time on Only Makes.